to 24 Minutes of A24, the podcast that takes a look at the A24 library 24 minutes at a time. I am Ethan Simi.
And I'm Ben Lawhorn. This week on the pod, we are trying to scrounge up some rent money as we discuss 2018's stoner comedy, Never Goin Back.
Jesse and Angela, high school dropouts, are taking a week off to chill at the beach. Too bad their house got robbed, rent's due, they're about to get fired, and they're broke. We were originally supposed to be talking about The Sympathizer. Let's just get this out of the way real fast.
Yeah.
I think both you and I are excited about The Sympathizer. Like, I want to watch the show. I want to talk about it here on the pod. The thing is, we talked about episode 1 a handful of weeks ago and had a great time. And then both of us, being the co-hosts of another podcast that we are and being working adults with partners and families and responsibilities, we were like, yo, 7 hours of content? That's a lot to ingest. He can't do it this week. So, life happens. So we pulled an audible and we switched up the calendar. We had someone DM us, Robert J. Booyah. I think that's how you say the last name. Sent us a DM and was like, yo, have you guys talked about Never Going Back? And we were like, no, let's do it. Let's do it. It's like a nice short movie instead of 7 hours of The Sympathizer.
Yeah.
And here we are. New week, new movie.
I'm excited about it. This is one that I've seen the poster of for a while whenever I've gone through the A24 list of movies and that looks really kind of interesting. 85-minute runtime. Love it. We love an A24 directorial debut. This had all the makings of something that we would enjoy. So yeah, I thought it was a great recommendation.
Absolutely agree. Point being, if you want us to cover anything on the pod, shoot us a DM. We're more than happy to adjust our schedule or talk about things that you want to hear on the show. I think this is destiny realized right here. And it's really exciting. So we're going to talk about Never Going Back. But first, we have a few housekeeping things. Can we do a little bit of A24 news? Because it's been
Let's do it.
A couple of weeks. We didn't talk about A24 news last week because we were talking about I Saw the TV Glow. Have you changed your opinion? Are you ready to be on the right side of history, Ben?
Well, it's interesting you say that because I feel like I have been this whole time. So yes, I feel great about being on the right side of history. No, my opinion hasn't changed at all. Also, my opinion that I'm glad that people enjoy it. I think that's fantastic. I wish I could connect like those people. So my opinion has not changed on it.
Okay. Well, that's okay. I tried at least. And I genuinely still think that was a very intriguing, fascinating conversation. And I think that was a very engaging way to talk about a very engaging movie. We're recording this on a Wednesday, and tomorrow my wife and I are actually planning to go see I Saw the TV Glow. We never get to go to the movies together. Mother-in-law's coming up. She's going to stay with the kids while they're sleeping. And Molly last week was like, I kind of want to see that movie. And I was like, yo, I could not have been like, let's buy tickets faster. Yeah. So we're planning on going. If plans change, that is up in the air. It was possible that I was trying to convince her to go see Challengers. So anything might happen.
That's what my question for you is going to be, because as of today, you put out the poll.
I did. I put out a poll on Twitter. Yes.
And I voted for Challengers, and now I'm hearing we already bought tickets. I was like, well, wait, hold on. What's going on?
So we haven't bought tickets. Okay. I was ready to buy tickets. But the thing with us is if we get a night where her mom is up, watching the girls, and we're able to go spend some time together, it's generally let's go down the road to the bar and just chat. Because we don't because life, and we're busy individuals, and having 2 young kids, we don't get time to just sit and talk. She ran that by me today, and she was like, maybe we should just go somewhere and chat. And I was like, no, we're going to a movie. So I'm locked in on a movie. The thing about Challengers is I looked, and we have to go to a movie showing after 7:30 p.m. Oh. And Challengers is now, I think, in its 4th box office week, and showtimes are absolutely dwindling.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what happens. She
got to make room for Garfield, you know what I mean? So yeah.
This is the problem. And you walked me right into it. She did say, let's take a look at what's playing at our local theaters, because she likes to go to a couple local theaters instead of Regal, obviously. Support local cinema. And at first I heard that and I was like, oh, maybe we go see Furiosa. Like that would be my third time seeing Furiosa, and I'd be like, yo, I'm so on board. You raise a very interesting thing here. She could very well say, like, are you interested in seeing Garfield? And we might end up getting a divorce tomorrow, so I'm not sure. Everybody stay tuned. Follow me on Twitter for the results.
We'll take a poll. Should I get divorced? Like, let me know what we should do.
My wife just said, let's spend our movie night watching Garfield. What do I do? So anything's possible. We might go see I Saw the TV Glow. Okay, let's talk about some housekeeping. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bullets here. What do you want to start with?
I'm most excited, I think, about the first thing on here. So let's top to bottom it.
Let's go. A24 has landed the rights to Ruben Östlund's new film, The Entertainment System is Down. This movie is going to star Kirsten Dunst, and Keanu Reeves, set on a long-haul flight where the entertainment systems fail and an eclectic group of international passengers are forced to face the horror of being bored. There's a lot here that I kind of want to break down. I want your opinions first. What do you think about this movie, this premise, Ruben Östlund directing something like this, and A24 picking it up? Because Neon had Östlund's last film that ended up being a Best Picture nominee.
Yeah.
Kind of a big get for A24.
Yeah, huge get. I'm super excited about this. I mean, you tell me that Keanu Reeves and A24 are crossing over here. Like, I'm very excited about that. I think the idea of this movie is hilarious. As someone who's like traveled quite a bit, like I could see the chaos this would bring if the whole entertainment system goes down, which is funny because it's just like what airplanes were 20 years ago, basically. You know, it's just like you just had to like bring a book or something or watch the one movie they showed. Yeah.
Right. But we think it's a dystopian hell that we're like, oh my God, let's make a movie about this terrible idea.
Yeah, like, you mean I can't watch Oppenheimer on the way to Hawaii? Like, this is a nightmare.
God, kill me now.
Can't have it. We can't have it. So, yeah, I think this is a great idea. And after his most recent movie, like, I'm just excited to see what he does with it.
I am also very excited. I think I was getting like a little Twitter pilled on this when news first came out about this movie. People are like, ugh, like Ruben Östlund, like he's attempting to do social satire again. Like, I didn't like Triangle of Sadness. And I just want to say, if you're in that boat, like I was in that boat, just remember a better time when Triangle of Sadness came out and people were like, yo, this movie's fucking crazy. People are vomiting all over the place and it's hilarious. And it was nominated for 3 Oscars. And then you'll feel better about yourself. And then you'll be like, oh, okay, I actually am excited, because that's where I'm at. I'm actually excited for this movie. I like Ruben Östlund as a director. I haven't seen all of his things, but I have seen Triangle of Sadness, which I'm not afraid to say, like, I'm a big fan of. I think that movie got thrown through like the culture spindle a little bit, where people were onto it during the Oscars. And then right after it didn't win anything, people were like, this movie stinks. It's so overrated and it's so try hard. I stand by that movie and I think it's very, very good. I'm interested to see him working with Kirsten Dunst and Keanu Reeves. Like, those are 2 very big names right now. In the last movie he worked with, Harris Dickinson was like kind of the biggest name that was in Triangle of Sadness, which is kind of crazy. I think it's a great get for A24. There's no release date, no projected anything yet. But you know, I mean, A24 just had Civil War with Kirsten Dunst as well. Like, back to the feeding trough for more of the same, more success, hopefully, with certain actors.
Can I read a couple other names of people that are attached to this movie?
Oh, please do, because I don't know anybody else.
So my boy Joel Edgerton from Animal Kingdom.
Wow.
Love him. Not as big on, but I'm curious to see Woody Harrelson in this movie.
Also in Triangle of Sadness. Fascinating. Regrouping. Okay.
Our boy Daniel Bruhl.
That's
Zemo.
our boy.
Yeah.
Zemo on board.
Zemo's
on the plane.
Here. And then
the last time Zemo was on a plane, I think it was Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we got our incredible meme moment.
We did.
Of that's a masterpiece, James. Complete masterpiece.
I love it. I'm excited to see him. And then person you might be most excited about in this movie is Cousin Greg himself, Nicholas Braun.
Oh, wow.
We're getting Cousin Greg in this movie, crazy. Dude. Can you believe it?
Yo.
Yeah.
Okay. Cousin Greg was in Zola And like, let's just be real with each other for a moment. Riley Keough, great in that movie. Coleman Domingo, great in that. Like, everybody great in that movie. Cousin Greg, batting a fucking 1,000 in that film.
Home run after
Undefeated.
home run. Yeah. He was stole that movie.
Line.
He was so good.
Exactly. Wow. I'm
so
very excited for this movie.
His tall ass just walking through the plane. You know what I mean? Like,
let's just call it now. There will be a scene in this movie that makes fun of his height and the height barrier of planes.
Has to be. Yeah, there's got to be something in there.
It's impossible not to do that.
So I'm excited about this cast. Obviously, Kirsten Dunst and Keanu Reeves is enough, but rounding it out with these four, and then like who knows who else is going to show up. This is going to be great.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really, really good. I'm not such a fan of the name. I will just say that the entertainment system is down like that.
Yeah,
it is very Ruben Östlund. Like I totally get that, but I'm very afraid that like social media is going to grab on this and be like, oh, satire, you're trying really hard here, dude, to make a commentary. And it's like, yeah, that's what he does. So we all know social media sites not the nicest to directors who try to do social commentary. So we'll see what happens. Okay, next one on the list. A24 has also acquired the rights to another film, the U.S. rights to this film, The Death of Robin Hood, starring Hugh Jackman and Jodie Comer. The film follows Robin Hood grappling with his past after a life of crime and murder whilst in the hands of a mysterious woman after being badly injured. That logline is a lot for me to handle right now after I've had a little bit to drink and it's getting a little bit late at night. I'm not sure I understand what this movie's about, but it's got Hugh Jackman and Jodie Comer. I think it's a big win.
Yeah, I think I'm sold just like with that right there. Robin Hood trying to come to terms with like what he's had to do over his career, even if it is stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. Like, I think that'll be kind of interesting to see that. And Hugh Jackman, and great actor, Jodie Comer, fucking amazing. So yeah, I'm on board.
Are you a pro Robin Hood? You big Robin Hood guy?
Fun fact, I am. It is probably my favorite Disney movie, up there with Peter Pan.
Wow. Whoa.
Love Robin Hood.
You're an old school guy.
Yeah. And even as a kid, it's like one of the few books that I wrote my own version of it. Like I drew a cover. Like I have a cover still over a book of like that I drew of Robin Hood. Like I love Robin Hood. So I'm super excited.
That is incredible considering I've never consumed an ounce of Robin Hood content in my life.
Including
not a single
Disney?
second. Never seen it.
Don't. Okay.
Zero desire. Just don't.
It sounds like we need to have a Disney draft.
All
I'm saying.
The movie draft podcast could get really fun with a Disney draft. That would be a bloodbath right there. That would be an absolute bloodbath.
That'd have to be a six person for sure.
Yeah, that'd have to be a mega draft. I'm excited. I think Hugh Jackman and Jodie Comer is a really interesting pair up. Like when I read this, it immediately took me back to like The Last Duel. And I was like, okay, period piece, old period piece. We've got Jodie Comer again. We've got a very masculine, kind of opposite figure here. That's a vibe that I like. I love The Last Duel. I think an incredibly slept on movie. So this looks really good. I think it's also worth noting with these two pieces of news, like A24 has just acquired the distribution rights because A24 after all is a distribution company.
Yeah.
Like I think sometimes people forget like, yo, A24 is making this movie. They're not making any movie. Like the movie is being paid for and made by somebody else. And they're like, we'll put it in theaters. And that's what we will pay for. And so far this year, A24 having an absolutely stellar year. I think 6 or 7 of their highest grossing films ever have come in the last 12 months. So it's like they are the company you want to distribute your movie right now. I think it's going to be a good movie. The Smashing Machine. Speaking of other movies that are coming out from A24, this is starring Dwayne Johnson from director Benny Safdie. Apparently it's eyeing a December release. We got one still image of this film. Have you seen this image?
I have, yeah. I think it's going to turn into the Killers of the Flower Moon image where we just see this for the next
you're so
6 months, you know, we see this one image for sure.
I think you're totally right. Like people gobbled that image up. And I think if A24 is smart, they'll just let it be and just say like, we're not giving you anything else. Like we know that you are frothing at the mouth for this. Dwayne Johnson, pretty much unrecognizable in makeup and costume and prosthetics. Is the December release is this a specific awards play from A24 with a biopic starring a very famous person that is only getting more famous, much to the chagrin of true movie stars, I would say.
Mhm.
And Benny Safdie, like someone that's very, I would say, culture prevalent and like culture pushing.
Yeah.
This could be an awards play.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it feels like it's the thing The Rock has left to do. Like he's shown that he can save
Yeah.
franchises. He obviously, even recently was still holding the wrestling world up. You know what I mean? Like he knows
Crazy.
what he's doing. He was just like one of the greatest of all time. And he's a great like performer. But now it's just like, can he be like a dramatic performer? And I think that's what we're about to find out. And this is him pushing himself to do that. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how it all plays out. I mean, he's got the chops for sure.
Mhm.
I feel like he does, but will it translate on screen? I don't know. We'll find out. But Benny Safdie, I think it'll be interesting to see what they pull out of each other.
I agree with you. Emily Blunt also attached to this film. Dwayne
Okay.
Johnson never nominated for any Oscars. Obviously, Emily Blunt heavily nominated.
Yeah.
Feels like we're just trying to kind of infuse the blood of this movie with awards talk, especially coming out in December. I love the name, the Smashing Machine, and
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued. I think it's going to be really, really good. A24 has come out with one other wrestling type film, and it was Sublime. So if that means anything, I think we're in for a win. Last thing. Summer IMAX series. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I think we gave out like our guesses and our wants and our like pie in the sky ideas of what we could
Mhm.
see for the Summer IMAX series. I think we guessed 2 out of the 3, didn't we?
And there's no way anybody in the world would have guessed the third one.
There is no fucking way.
Right?
That,
like, what a
I-
curveball.
What a weird pick. Like, let's
Yeah.
just be honest, weird. In the height of summer, where you could put any massive, massive movie at a box office where people are trying to escape the
Mhm.
heat, trying to hang out with their family and friends, go do cool things and watch movies, like, let's pick Oasis, Supersonic. I just like,
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever mentioned that name on this podcast, and this is episode 150.
It's kind of nuts. It's like one of the few docs that we've seen A24 put out. And it's just so surprising that this is what they went with, like, and what they bookended it with, like this is just like falling right in the middle of arguably 2 of their greatest films, like in their whole library. And then we get this. I don't know, like maybe the audience is out there and they're dying to see a summer concert in July, but in AC, you know what I mean? Like maybe that's what's
Yeah,
going on
maybe.
here. But I'm just like, this feels,
But like at that point, why are you not just re-releasing Stop Making Sense?
yeah.
Like
I know.
there's a box office appetite for Stop Making Sense. It is on a monthly cadence in certain cities across America, with Portland being one of them. Like
Mhm.
I can go see it once a month at a local rep theater. Of course, I want to experience that again in IMAX.
Yeah.
Like why is that not the concert movie? You just put a bunch of money into a 4K restoration, and you're going with an old doc. I don't know. I'm confused.
It feels like someone lost a bet or someone won a bet. And so like their friend
You get
got
to
to
choose
pick. Yeah,
what
it's like,
one it is.
yeah. And they're like, all right, cool. I'm gonna call your bluff. Put on Oasis Supersonic. Like, all right, cool. Like Oasis is great. I'm not trying to like diminish the band, but it's just like it is crazy just seeing them. It's that meme of like the 5 soldiers and the 1 clown that's there. It's just like, oh, it's like
It
one of
really
these things
is.
is like, what is happening here? We're surrounding this with Midsommar and everything everywhere all at
Yeah.
once. Like that's kind of crazy, but I'm curious to see how it will perform.
I'm so fascinated. I'm just so fascinated. We've got Oasis Supersonic in July. We talked about that. Midsommar director's cut coming June 20th on the actual day of summer solstice, which
Yeah.
is really badass.
Yeah.
I believe they also did a run late last year, where they did like The Lighthouse, Midsommar. They did a couple of like horror.
Mhm.
I think they did The Witch, like in AMC. They did like a republishing of these movies and a
Yeah.
redistribution. I think it was the director's cut of Midsommar as well. I did not get the chance to go see that. I don't think I'll get the chance to see this one either. I'm going to be with my wife in Vegas, and I can tell you right now, she will not want spend 2.5 hours on our Vegas trip watching Midsommar.
Watching old people jump to their death and then get hammered in the head.
Which I think is her problem. Like I've got about 3 weeks to turn that around.
Yeah.
I'm going to try my fucking best. If I can swing it and be like, yo, you chill at the pool for a few hours. I'm going to go catch Midsommar if there's an IMAX screen nearby. We could make magic happen. Just everybody pray for me. And then Everything Everywhere All at Once is returning to IMAX in August. While I understand this one, I'm a little personally dubious. I'm not quite sure why we're doing this. Like it feels like it just came out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it feels like it just had an IMAX run.
Yeah. How long ago was it though? Was it like almost 2 years ago? Was it a year?
Yeah.
Like
I think it was like almost 2 years ago.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's like they're definitely their most recent thing that they're putting out again. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about it. Like that feels like out of the three, the one I, have the greatest chance of making it to.
Sure.
Not, to spoil anything, but there's a chance I might also be in Vegas around the same time as Midsommar's release.
Ooh,
so who knows? My partner and I might be there, chilling by the pool. Who knows? But yeah, Everything Everywhere in August would be sweet.
I think that if you guys come to Vegas, you and I should go see Midsommar together in Vegas and then go back to the pool and we'll live pod from the pool post.
Oh, okay. I like it.
That's where I think we need to be with
after
that.
A couple of drinks, then we'll give our live review.
Dude, if I were to review Midsommar with like 4 beers in me, that might be the greatest pod of all time. I can tell you that right now. That would be unhinged. Look, I'll go see Everything Everywhere All at Once, but like, I just feel like there were a lot of other options. It just it just kind of feels like there were a lot of other really cool things that could have been out there that we talked about. That like I just feel would have been kind of sick. Like I don't know. So that's where
literally anything is on the table. If they're dipping down to Oasis Supersonic, like
you know can choose any movie in your catalog.
Yeah, like I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I haven't seen it. I don't know, but it's just like, oh, they're not just going for stuff that's been like awards certified or anything like that. Like they are really just like, we'll do anything. Like it's fucking July. Put Spring Breakers in IMAX. You know what
Jesus
I mean? Like
Christ,
let's fucking party. Like
let's party, man.
Let's do it. But I don't know.
What the hell? What the hell? I would be so on board for that. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Strange. I'm a little dubious. Like Midsommar, I understand. It's summer solstice that we all knew that was going to happen. The other two are interesting to me. Okay. Any other housekeeping? Any other A24 news that you want to cover?
Nothing that comes to mind. I just like, it's a lot of good stuff for the last couple of weeks. It's been announced. Yeah,
a lot of good stuff for sure. And my local rep theater is actually doing a Yorgos Lanthimos run here in a couple of weeks, and they're showing The Killing of a Sacred Deer. And I was like, yo, in theaters, that movie might rip. So I might go see that. I might check that one out. Okay, let's talk about Never Goin Back. This is a movie that exists in the A24 library. Released in 2018, had its world premiere at Sundance Film Festival, played South by Southwest. A24 picked up the distribution rights, gave it an exceptionally limited theatrical run in 27 theaters. It made $61,000 at the box office. Not, I don't know if you'd say like a bomb, but like almost non-existent. Like at the theatrical level. Directed by Augustine Frizzell, their Sounds directorial debut. Yeah. 85 minutes long. This movie stars Maya Mitchell as Angela, Camila Marone as Jesse, Joel Allen as Dustin, and our boy Kyle Mooney as Brandon. Kind of, outside of like being suggested this movie, I texted you and I was like, should we cover this? And you texted back and you were like, Kyle Mooney's in it. We're talking about it.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm into it. I know not to spoil stuff, but he might have been my favorite part of the whole movie. So
he is easily the best part of this film. Let's just say that right now.
Yeah.
Can we take a quick digression to Kyle Mooney, because he does have an A24 movie coming out, and I just quickly want to talk about this. This movie is called Y2K, starring Rachel Zegler, a couple other famous people, with Kyle Mooney being one of them. His directorial debut, written and directed by Kyle Mooney. Now, this is a movie that we got one still for. We have one still, much similar to The Smashing Machine, similar to Killers of the Flower Moon. That's all we have. I think we got this still maybe like 6 or 8 months ago. Like, I kid you not. It debuted at South by Southwest back in March. I went to go see it. I won't spoil anything, but I will just say it's quite a poor film. And I think it's very telling that A24 hasn't said shit about this movie. We have people, if they're not locked into A24 or Kyle Mooney or like Rachel Zegler, nobody knows that Y2K exists.
Yeah.
Which I think is not a good sign for the film.
Maybe that'll go to 27 theaters too. Who knows what kind of distribution it's going to get. It's going to be another thing where it's just like the listeners are going to be with us in a few months. And it's like, I don't know, we might be talking about Y2K next week.
Who knows?
It's not showing up anywhere. Like, we'll see. We might have to wait for VOD. Like, who knows? Yeah.
It seems like a straight to VOD, which is really, really interesting because Rachel Zegler's like one of the top 25 biggest movie stars right now, I would kind of argue. And yeah, it's weird. But Kyle Mooney, while he may not be good in Y2K, and again, conversation for the future, I don't know when that future will be. I thought he was quite good in this film. I thought he was like the best part of this movie. Let's start with general thoughts about the film. Obviously, it's kind of a stoner comedy. Being stoned plays a huge role in this movie. So did you like Never Going Back? And like, do you generally like stoner comedies?
Okay, before I answer that, I just want to bring up one more thing with A24.
Okay, yes.
Our director here, Augustine Frizzell, do you know who she's married to?
Oh, God. I have zero idea. Am I going to love it?
I think you are. She's married to David Lowery, our
really?
boy behind the Green Knights.
Our Mr. One for You, One for Me Hollywood master.
Yeah, A Ghost Story. The upcoming Mother Mary with Anne Hathaway and Hunter Schafer.
Holy shit, let's go.
Yeah, so that's her husband. So
also the director of Wendy and Pete's Dragon.
Yep.
So let's not
Wendy,
forget
Pete's
that.
Dragon. Oh,
you gotta get the bag where you can.
Love Pete's Dragon.
Married to David Lowery.
Yeah.
Kinda really
crazy,
fascinating. Right? Has Augustine made anything since Never Going Back?
There was a movie in 2021 called The Last Letter from Your Lover, which, let's see.
Okay.
Felicity Jones, Callum Turner,
Joe
Alwyn, who I think is a Taylor Swift ex, that's how I recognize that name.
Yeah.
Oh, Shailene Woodley's in it. I don't know. The poster makes it look awful. The poster looks like just insane.
It looks terrible. That poster is abhorrent. Looks like she's also directed an episode of Euphoria, which is really interesting.
The pilot of Euphoria. Yeah.
Really?
They gave her the pilot, which is obviously like great. So
is like, that's so interesting to me because it's like the pilot of one of the biggest TV shows of 2019 and 2020. And then they go on to do a movie that like is rated TVMA. Like that's not real. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder what happened.
Yeah, I'm very, very curious. The Wikipedia said that Frizzell is set to direct the Ryan Reynolds film Stoned Alone.
Stop. Ryan Reynolds. I checked out. I'm not listening.
Yeah. It's apparently like if you click on Stoned Alone, it takes you to the Home Alone franchise Wikipedia page. So I have no idea what this movie is supposed to be, but I don't know. I hope they get to do something else because I enjoyed this movie. To bring it full circle, I had a good time with this movie. I liked stoner movies for the most part. I think I like more of them than I dislike them. This one, for the most part, worked for me. Like there were some maybe structural like pacing things. There were some moments where I felt like it was, as someone who went to film school, it felt like, oh, I'm watching a film school, like a film edit right now.
Absolutely.
And I was like, oh, this is someone's senior project where they're just throwing every single joke they thought of into this one scene. And it's like, you got to trim some of these out because if you do too many of them, none of them work. Like you can't necessarily throw everything at it. But there were a lot of moments that I just like was laughing and I thought it was super hilarious. So it was a real kind of mixed bag, but overall I was into it. I thought And for a directorial debut, I mean, they did a good job. So overall, yeah, I was into it. What about you? Did you like this? Do you like stoner movies?
Well, stoner movies are hard for me because I generally don't get stoned. Alcohol would be my kind of vice of choice.
You're an LSD guy. You're just.
I am.
True.
Yeah. I'm actually huge on cocaine. Every time right before we pod, I snort a line on my microphone.
Okay.
The full Babylon effect. So I feel like I don't get the maximum effect of a stoner movie. Having said that, I generally don't like stoner movies. I generally find it a little gratuitous, to connect with them, and a little bit difficult where, exactly like you mentioned, like, wow, we're 20 minutes in and I've heard 65 jokes. Like I think I'm good for the next 65 minutes. But this one, while I did think it was overall kind of a poor film, there was one stretch, and that stretch is with Kyle Mooney, and we'll talk about it in our true cinema. But this is the stretch where the girls rob Kyle Mooney's character at his sandwich shop. Genuinely hilarious. That scene in and of itself gave this movie an extra 2 stars in my opinion.
Sure.
I gave this movie 3 stars on Letterboxd. I think it is like on the poorer side of things. I'm really, really, really sorry, Robert, that I didn't love this movie. But I think there's some good nuggets, and I think that's one of the better nuggets for sure. I had big problems with the pacing, like you mentioned. Like, it felt, we got like 2 fade to blacks within the first 15 minutes, and I was like, dude, are we sure we're telling a cohesive story? Like, do we know where we're going with this? Because I think my biggest problem with the film is like, I don't know that we really have many stakes here. Like, I don't really know where we're headed, and I don't know if I really care, I guess. The girls, like, they need rent money, and they gotta get to work, and they took some weed cookies. But I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just think it's very, very low stakes. Which I understand. Like, it's supposed to be. I will say there were certain things that I liked, and certain things that I found really, really funny. The pacing at the end of the film as well, I kind of just wanted to gouge my eyes out. I was like, what's the plan? Like, what are we doing? We stole the money. Where are we go? Like, let's make a decision here about what we're doing next. How much money did they steal from the safe? I know we're spoiling Never Going Back, but listeners should know this. Like, we're not going to cover a movie from 2018 and jump around here. We're going full spoilers. They robbed the safe at the end, the safe of cash from Kyle Mooney's sandwich shop. And I go ahead. I have lots of thoughts on this that I need to share.
My guess is at most $2,000.
Oh, that's like way more than I thought.
Well,
I don't know. Did they have some stacks of 20s though?
But they don't have any stacks of hundreds. So they're not making a ton of money, but there are some stacks of 20s, which could lend themselves to being, in the $500 range.
Sure.
Maybe. So it's that's why I'm coming up with that. But there's also stacks of 1s. So it's I don't know. What does a sandwich shop keep on hand? What do they need to have in the safe? They probably don't need $1,000, who knows? Who
is buying a sandwich with cash? That to me is psychotic behavior.
It is. Yeah. That's kind of crazy to think about.
What we've established here. And that's really where we should be drawing the line. They break into the safe. And while there are some stacks of 20s, there are a lot of stacks of 1s. It was maybe it felt like 10 to 12 stacks of cash. That was it. It was not a full safe. So in my eyes, they jacked $1,500. I'll give you the 2,000. I'll say okay. Yeah. So they jacked $2,000, right? The whole thing is that they're trying to go to the beach. They're trying to get to the beach for, I think it's Jessie's birthday.
17th birthday.
Her 17th birthday, which again, I have a lot of opinions on this.
Yeah.
That we need to circle back on. But so they're trying to get to the beach for her 17th birthday. They decide to burglarize the shop to get rent money. They make it out in the final probably 7 minutes of the movie, the point where I just wanted to absolutely stop watching this movie because we weren't doing anything. They made out what sounded to me like they had just pulled off like a Heat level heist.
Yeah,
they had just jacked 150 G's and they were like, we can go anywhere in the world. Let's escape. Where are we going to go? And it's like, guys, you jacked like $1,000. Like, where are you going to go? You're going to drive like 500 miles. Like, what do you think is going to happen here?
Mentally, they were standing at the Bellagio fountains with everyone from Ocean's 11. They're like, we did it. We just stole $50 million. You know what I mean? It's like, you guys have like 2 months of rent, maybe. Like, it's all you have. And you guys lost your fucking job.
They still got to pay the water bill. They got to pay the water bill. That never gets resolved.
It's kind of nuts. Like, we'll get into it. There's no reason for them to be 16 or 17. Like, they easily could have been.
Let's talk about it.
Like, there's just no reason for it. And when you think about it in that context, it makes it so much creepier. Like all the Brandon shit. So, you know what I mean?
So here's my problem. Let me just say this.
Yeah.
That I agree. I think that age range is very problematic for this movie because the two lead actresses, they are attractive. They are good looking women. And they are playing 17-year-olds that have dropped out of high school and are stoners and are just working at a diner, that go into a situation and are like, hey, you're my brother's roommate. You live in our house and we know that you're an absolute pervert and you want to see us naked. How about we let you touch our boobs and you give us rent money? That's exceptionally problematic on like a lot of different levels. It's also like problematic as a viewer for me where I'm like, yeah, they're good looking. They're getting into some crazy business. They're going to parties. Like, cool. Like, I'm along for the ride. Kind of creepy because it's like they're in high school. Why are they not 20? You know what I mean? Like, they could be 20, they could be 23, they could be 18. This story is still going to work. Them dropping out of high school plays zero part in this narrative.
Yeah, you can still work at a diner even having dropped out of high school at 8, like, and being 18 years old. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, we dropped out and that's why we've been at the diner for 3 years. Like, oh, okay, got it. So they're 18, 19. The storyline doesn't change. Like, everything is the same. You can still live with your weird older brother and his weird friends. You probably will when you're 18 or 19. Like, that's just like how it goes. So like I just didn't see any fundamental reason within the storyline for them to be this age. And all it does is, like, while not addressing it in the movie, it makes it just more awkward. Some of these storylines that happen when you think about them later on, it's just like, oh God, this is so weird. You know, that, yeah, Kyle Mooney, who's like probably at least 20 something in the movie is supposed to be, you know, It's just like, I don't know. They pitch a threesome. They don't even pitch their boobs at first. They pitch a threesome, him and two 16-year-olds. Like, that's fucking absurd. Dude, you know? That's crazy.
we open this movie with them talking about golden showers. So it's like, let's move on from the high school bit. Like, again, I really don't think that has anything to do with it. But I can understand the devil's advocate here where it's like dazed and confused, like high school, like stoners are in high school. Like, sure, I get that, but like not when you're going to go this path, in my opinion. I want to go back to Kyle Mooney for 1 second because he is really only in this movie like in 3 scenes. One of them is at the end during the burglary, which is like gold tier type Kyle Mooney comedy. I generally find his style of comedy a little grating if it's longer than an SNL skit. And the first time that he is in this movie is him busting in their room while they're changing, presenting a photo that apparently his webcam took because one of the girls like bends over and somehow the laptop takes a picture of her and he wants to keep it on his wall. His character is an absolute dirtbag in this movie. Like, what portion of him, like Kyle Mooney, wrote any of this or was like, yo, I'm so stoked to sign on for this? Because that's a little concerning for me.
I mean, it's a little weird. I don't know that that's like the reason he signed on for it. And I don't want to like make any weird allegations about that. But Yeah, it's a weird character, but I mean, the weird character, I believe, was written by Augustine, right? So it's just like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
This
true.
is like the character that she wrote and wanted to have. And I think found the right person to play it, but
Yeah.
it just like sits even weirder once the movie's over. It's like, oh, wait, those girls are in high school. Like, that is so weird what he was asking to do. Like, it's so strange.
So strange. Okay, let's do truth cinema. Let's walk our way through the movie here. I mentioned we get an introduction where Angela is drawing a dick on Jesse's face, and then taking her over to the computer, which I believe to be Kyle Mooney's Brandon's laptop, in which they find that he is watching girl on girl porn, and they start talking about golden showers, kind of in a abrasive way to start the movie that is like, I guess, fundamentally funny, but like I was 100% sober and I was like, yo, I don't know if I'm on board for this.
I think one of the things that's weird about it, and it's a bummer to jump out with this immediately, but it's like when you've seen this kind of stuff done well, like I feel like you do in Superbad, then when you watch
Yes.
it not being done as well, it's even more apparent. You know, it's
Sure.
like, oh, I've seen dick jokes really well done in movies, you know, and that's like the Jonah Hill character just having to draw them all the time. Like, that's hilarious,
That's
you
funny.
know?
Right.
And they even have at the beginning of Superbad that whole conversation about like, I think it's like the porn that he's gonna pay for or something like that. You know, he's like, oh, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
pay for this. It's like we even start out a movie with these kind of jokes, and it's kind of funny. And this one is just like, oh, I feel like I've seen this stuff before. Not that jokes can't be repeated or done better or adapted or whatever, but it's just like, yeah, I don't know. Neither of these things are really just like, I get it. You're trying to establish that, like, oh, she always draws the dick on the face. Like, that's why she knows that that's what is going on. But I don't know, that some of the stuff, like we talked about, just like didn't work great, but there was plenty of humor that also got me. So, yeah.
It just feels ultimately quite derivative, and it's
Yeah.
easy to catch on to that. I think that's the
Mhm.
thing. Like, I think it was like just not far enough away from something
Yeah.
like that, something like Superbad. Like, I continually thought of like Superbad and Pineapple Express while watching this movie, and I was
Mhm.
like, oh, I totally know that like they're stealing from this movie.
Yeah.
Which, like, again, like, I don't think the movie's bad. I just think it's like subpar. And I think that is a large reason why. Question for you. The title card, when they're getting ready to go to work, they wake up, they talk about the trip, and they're like, uh-oh, we better get going to work. They snort cocaine before they go to work? Is that right?
Yeah.
They're
'Indeed.
17, right?
Indeed.
Okay, cool. Because like they do drugs and apparently make out in their room all the time, according to Brandon, Kyle Mooney's characters.
Yeah.
So that's something that happens. It's revisited one other time, and I think to semi like okay effect, but it felt to me like a lot of things in this movie did not play a very cohesive part of
Mhm.
any part of the narrative. Like it felt extremely disjointed.
Yeah. It felt like a lot of individual scenes that they wanted to find a way to tie together.
Yeah.
I almost felt like there was a script that was written about the girls and then a script that was written about the boys. And it's like, oh, what if we make them brother
Put
and
'em together.
sister and we put
Yeah.
them together? It's just like, yeah, you could do that. In some ways it works, but in a lot of ways it's just like doesn't track at all. Like, I don't really follow what's happening here, but I don't know. Yeah.
It did. I'm totally on board with you. I'm totally agree with that. Kyle Mooney busting into the rooms as they're changing. I mentioned this. I briefly talked about this. Next on the list is the break-in and the stolen TV. So this comes as, I think it's Jesse's brother that they live with, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it's Jesse's brother.
So Jesse's brother Dustin, who I would say most of this cast, like outside of Kyle Mooney, is pretty much no names. Which I think is intriguing for the film itself. Like, I think it does add a layer of like, oh, okay, cool, like benefit of the doubt. Like, you guys are just trying stuff. I totally I respect that. So one of his friends breaks in, steals this massive like grandma TV that is part of this huge wooden like rolling thing. maybe I just don't remember, but like, are we positive we know why he broke into the house? Other than the fact that like he was going to have a pound of weed, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a brick of cocaine or a pound of, I don't remember exactly what it was, but
this is what I'm saying. Like it's exceptionally incoherent what we're doing sometimes.
What I took from it was that scene the night before where the three guys are there. It's like, we buy a brick, then we sell it. It's like, if we all chip in to buy it and sell it, we'll make money. So my assumption was that he gave them their money and then they didn't come back with the cocaine or whatever it was they were buying. So he just thought he got ripped off. So that's why he's like, he's coming back for his money or he's coming back for whatever.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then instead he steals a TV that you would get for $30 at a pawn shop instead of his $500 that he was looking for. So yeah.
He did bust down the door, and then a few scenes later, the door is fixed. Look, I know people are going to hate me, but it's like, I know it's a stoner comedy. And like, if you are watching this movie stoned, or if you are like in that mindset, you don't give a fuck if the door is fixed or not.
Yeah, yeah.
I cared. I was like, yo, how do we fix that door, guys? Because like, we don't even have money to pay the water bill and pay rent. How are you fixing this door? It got busted down.
Brandon did not fix that door.
But there's no way. There's just can't happen. Can't happen. The girls go to jail for 48 hours. Essentially, the cops are called about the break-in. Kyle Mooney, pretty funny in this scene again. Like, his comedic timing, you can really tell, is kind of a league above everybody else.
Yeah.
Like he gets it. He gets the mannerisms, the timing. He understands how to play the jokes in a very upscaled way, upstaged way. This is pretty funny from him. The girls get arrested because these cops find a huge glass table with cocaine residue on it. And meanwhile, like, nobody else is charged and nobody else is taken for like detainment or anything. They were just like, in your room, you're the only ones getting punished. Yep. Tough beat for the girls. And
then the guys just watch as they like are taken away in handcuffs. Kyle just in his underwear, or Brandon, I guess, just like in his underwear, standing in the driveway.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, it was a great scene for sure.
Yeah, pretty funny. I think this was funny in concept. This is for me the biggest like pacing issue / like coherency issue with the film is like, I feel like we could have done a lot of really funny things with them being in prison for 48 hours instead of like having a 4-minute scene of them in prison and then just going to black and saying 48 hours later. Like, I feel like we missed out on a huge moment for them in what could have been really funny stuff.
Yeah. Some like understanding their bonding a little bit better, some character development. There's a lot of stuff we could have got in there. And the only thing that we really got out of it is the setup for the poop joke. Like, which is fine. Like, it set it up, but it's like, that's pretty much all we took away. That's the only thing we gained from this whole thing.
Long con on that joke.
Long con, for sure.
long play on that one. We'll circle back on that. We'll get to that. Hijinks
Could you poop
montage.
in prison? Could you poop in prison?
That's a great question. I think that I could, but then I go and I poop at work and I'm just like, how the fuck are the people around me pooping in public? Because it's disgusting. So like, I don't think I could do it. I just don't think I could do it.
No, I've got the shyest bladder where I'm just like, I would just be SOL. Like, I would just literally have to explode for anything to happen. There's no way.
They'd be like, how'd he die? Be like, well, he just couldn't go to the bathroom.
He was too afraid to poop in front of other people, so he's dead.
Absolute prison legend right there. We get a hijinks montage. I think this was definitely one of the highlights of the movie. This, to me, another movie that I thought a lot about while I was watching this film was Spring Breakers. I was like, oh, you're definitely trying to be Spring Breakers. Do we know, like, did Spring Breakers, so this movie came out in 2018. I'm looking really fast to see Spring Breakers came out in 2012. So like, it feels like an adequate amount of time has passed where they're like, ooh, we can like kind of steal the vibe a little bit. So the hijinks montage is like all the other times that they've told their boss, Marcus, I think, about why they were late for work. Pretty funny. Like, they faked a car accident, hit each other in the head with bricks, drinking a gallon of milk and vomiting all over him. And there was a third one, and I don't remember it. I can't recall
either at the moment. Yeah.
They were pretty funny though. And I was like, this is what I wanted out of the jail scene. Like this is good bonding. They've been doing this shit for a long time. Now I feel a little bit more connected.
100%. Like this is what we needed. This is probably my second favorite moment of the movie is them going through all these hijinks and just learning. We learn a little bit about like their manager, who's like obviously willing to put up with a lot of stuff for them. We learned some of their background and their connection. I think this scene worked really well. And like you said, this is the stuff we could have gotten in the jail. I just don't know that we needed the jail at all.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. The actor's name is Marcus. His character is Roderick. That's incredible that I had that slip. I can't believe I'm that smart. They go to the grocery store. They get called a thief and a whore by this really old guy. Another like kind of a long con joke that like, I don't know if it really works, but it's like this guy, I don't ever want to talk to this guy.
Yeah,
it's exactly the kind of person you want to avoid at all costs.
Yeah, and like you said, I don't think the callback made any difference to the ending scene.
Not at all.
It could have just been any person at all. Like there wasn't enough of a moment of him being like, oh my God, it's those girls, like, or whatever, like where they had some sort of connection. So it didn't need to be that person. It was just more of like an interesting coincidence. Like, oh, okay, I didn't see that coming, but I don't know that like adds anything. But yeah, I don't know. It's always the quiet ones, like they say. It's always
the quiet ones that turn out to be the perverts. They go to Art Dog's party. How do you get a nickname like Art Dog? How does that happen?
Do you give that to yourself or does someone give that to you?
That's self-proclaimed. 1,000,000%. It's gotta be.
Never works well. You can't give yourself a nickname. I don't like that.
No, not at all. Bad idea. Bad rap for our guy Art Dog here, who's having a party at his grandma's house, I believe.
Yeah.
Tough beat, like great for the grandma, I guess, but like does not seem like the kind of party you have at your grandma's house.
No, not at all.
They are there to wash their clothes to go to work. Again, like we spend a lot of this movie just being like, yo, they got to get to work, which I was just like, I'm not super interested in. I kind of don't care. I kind of like, let's go do other things. They get into the weed cookies, which like, I'm not good at seeing when things are going to happen, but I mean, I could see this happening.
Yeah, for sure.
10 miles away.
Yeah, without a doubt. This came out of nowhere. And again, this was another thing where it's like, man, it's super bad. They hide the alcohol in laundry detergent bottles, and now we're doing laundry at a party, which is like, this feels, maybe it's coincidental, but man, there's a lot of crossover here that you can make between these two movies. It's like, that's kind of a bummer, but I know that they play it for different effect, but it's still just kind of like, I don't know. The fact that it even comes up in my mind, it's a bummer. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be that close.
100% agree. 100% agree. The Michael Bolton needle drop. I wanted to put this one on here. I only have a couple more bullet points to go over, but they take the weed cookies. They end up getting to work. I think the funniest, like outside of the Kyle Mooney, which I actually think is the funniest, I think this is the second funniest bit that works because the actresses for the girls are like, they're on the same level.
Yeah.
And the joke is prolonged enough where it's like, does this person know that we're high? I think they know that we're high. They go end up talking to their boss. And I do admire and I respect and I like the editing choice here from the director to like make it appear like they're having a conversation for themselves and then all of a sudden back out and know that Roderick is there listening to the whole time.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Like, well done. I didn't feel like this part was derivative of any other stoner movie. Maybe that's why it worked so well for me.
Honestly, this is my true cinema moment. Like I loved them being high at work the whole time. Like even the other coworker giving them shit, and just like the slow walk into the building as all the other patrons like turn and look out at them and they're just like staring backwards, like seeing the pancakes, like you said, the needle drop of Bolton. Like this works perfectly. And then that conversation with the boss plays so funny. And
it does. Yeah,
I think the scene works so good.
I really do think the final act of this movie is in some ways a saving grace of the film.
Yeah.
No doubt. Once we get to this point, for the sake of the pod, I would choose a different true cinema moment, but the Michael Bolton needle drop, I can't tell you. Like, I actually laughed. I like thought that was genuinely very, very, very funny that they had two great needle drops in this scene, and low key, like if you're watching this stoned, 1,000,000% you're like, I have to have pancakes right now.
Yes, for sure.
I was sober
great.
and I was like, yo, those pancakes look bomb. I need some pancakes.
I need those right now for sure.
Okay. This is where both groups decide to rob Brandon. So basically what happens is that Dustin and his group of friends, which again, like that whole storyline basically doesn't work for me. Like kind of at all. It feels very like plug and play because we didn't have enough material for the girls. So like we needed to put something in there. They are trying to figure out how to get rent money. The girls are trying to figure out how to get rent money. I do like the moment, at least for me, where I was like, I get it. They're both going to do the same thing. Like, okay, that's cool. Like, I'm interested to see what happens. Brandon and his friends decide to put pantyhose over their face and go rob Brandon. Excuse me. So Dustin and his friends put pantyhose over their faces, decide to go rob Brandon. When they decide to go rob Brandon, Brandon and the girls, Angela and Jesse, they're conversing. And Kyle Mooney's comedic timing is very, very apparent here, and it works extremely well. Where basically, like you said, they offer up a threesome, and they were like, "Give us the money that's in the register, so we can pay our rent, and like we will ride the banana." Which
I forgot about that.
Really, really funny. And they go to the back. They go like behind the kind of the registers. They all like sit on the ground for some reason, as they agree to let him basically like, feel them up. And then
no
the robbery.
Squeezing though. No squeezing. Like
no squeezing.
Over the shirt boob. No squeezing.
Cup only.
You can cup it. Yeah.
And he's like, "Is that like one boob each or one boob total?" And then the robbery happens to both of them. I think the lead into this is, while it felt the most Spring Breakers to me, it also felt the edgiest and the best of the film. Like it felt we were treading into the territory that maybe the rest of the movie was scared to get into. And for me, it really worked because I was like, this is like, yes, it's an awkward situation with the age of the girls, but it's like, this is funny. Kyle Mooney's funny. This is a funny circumstance. Kind of hot. Like, like I get it. I get why the humor works here. And outside of that, I think like the rest of the things didn't really work for me. But this in particular is my true cinema moment. This was hilarious.
My favorite moment out of this is...
Say it. It's going to be the same thing.
Is it going to be? I don't want to ruin it then if you're going to say it.
No, say it. Say it. I want to know.
It's when like they give him the note and they flip it over and it says money, and he pulls like the $6 out of his pocket.
He's like, "I didn't know if you were robbing me. You're robbing the store."
Yeah, like it's so good. It's like, "Oh, I thought you were robbing me. You're not robbing me. You're robbing the store." Of course, Like, was that your
so
moment?
Funny.
Like, yeah, it's so good.
No, so that wasn't my moment. But they continue with that, and he's like, yeah, move it on to the next thing. Like, just give me direction. Tell me what to do. You want foil or you want it to go box?
Yeah,
he's like, which one do you want the cash in? Hilarious. My like absolute pinnacle. You can ask Molly about this. Like, I laughed way too hard. Where basically the girls are like, 99% of drug dealing is being held at gunpoint. Haven't you seen Goodfellas? And then everybody else listed a movie and they were like, Blow or whatever. Yeah. And then Kyle Mooney rips in and goes, Boogie Nights too. And then everybody's like, oh yeah. Like at the end with the fireworks. And I was like, holy fuck. I think that's the best Boogie Nights reference in a movie ever. Like, probably. I was keeled over with how funny that was.
Oh, it was perfect. Yeah, it was so good. Like, that worked out so well.
Watching the whole movie for that one moment was worth it to me. That, like, I want to find that moment again. It was so good. The girls end up hiding in the closet. Brandon goes home. Old guy comes in and locks up, ends up making a dick sandwich and sending nudes to who the fuck knows, whoever is putting mayo on their boobs. Really kind of out of pocket for me, like really lost the beat here, lost the premise of like what we were doing. And then we end up coming full circle on the poop joke. They puke on the old guy. They puke him to death. They steal the money out of the safe because the keys are there. And then we get like the final 5 minutes where they're just on the bed and they're like, we could go anywhere in the world, or like the world is our oyster. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And it's so lackadaisical and it's so meandering and it's so inconsequential that like, and then it ends and it just like absolutely doesn't work for me at all. And the whole old guy thing and the whole poop joke, like it didn't pay off for me. I'll just say that.
Could you poop in front of me in the closet?
Man, that is tough.
That's a tough question. I guess if you're in that situation that she was in.
Dude, well, like that's an elevated question because you and I have only ever met in person one time in our lives.
Yeah, it's
like
true.
I only know you through the computer. So like
it's crazy.
If I'm in a closet with you and if I'm backed up for presumably 3 days in this situation?
Yeah, seems like it.
Yes, I feel comfortable enough with you, Ben.
Got to do it.
You are more comfortable to me than prison.
I'm sitting on a bucket right now, actually, as we talk. So just so you know, that's where I'm at. Yeah, the
ending
for the
last hour, this is what you've been prepping for. Long con joke.
Exactly. Yeah, the ending didn't work great. You know, like I'm assuming they were like daydreaming about ending up at the beach. They didn't actually like end up at the beach in that exact moment.
Right. Yeah, we get kind of a daydream moment. Totally forgot.
Yeah, because they like kind of fall asleep together. I thought for sure like the brother was going to come in and take the money or something. Like I don't know what was happening. So yeah, it kind of trailed off there at the end. But overall, I enjoyed this movie. I had a good time with it. But it's just not something that like we'll go through these A1 acts. And like I don't know how many of these movies I would choose, or how many times I would choose Never Going Back instead of one of these other movies, if that makes sense. I think I maybe said that backwards, but you know what I mean.
Totally. Yeah, no, exactly. I'm totally with you. It feels like an unfortunately failed amalgamation of a lot of stoner movies that just isn't quite different enough. There are certain scenes that really did work for me that kind of made this like an okay movie to watch. But again, like I think it was just like quite it felt like a debut and it felt like a Sundance thing and it felt like trying to do what had been done before. So I was a little bit bummed. I was a little disappointed, but you know what? I got a couple really funny moments out of it, and I don't know if you can ask for very much more out of an 85-minute stoner comedy. So I don't know, a win.
Definitely happy with the runtime. Definitely happy with that.
Yeah, very, very happy. Okay, so our A1 act, we both did our True Cinemas, so we're clear there. Our A1 act, of course, is stoner movies. So I'll be clear, I sourced some of these movies from Reddit. So there was a question out there that had already been posted on a subreddit that was like, what are the best stoner movies? So I just stole a lot from that, and we're gonna list them. Have you ever, I think I know the answer to this, but have you ever watched a movie while stoned?
Yes, plenty. Like, I can say that was one of the ways that, we enjoyed Stop Making Sense in IMAX. Definitely.
I am remarkably jealous of you. I think that sounds awesome. I just haven't found the right gummy for me.
Gotcha.
I haven't found the right thing that takes me to the right place. So the one time I did take a gummy and like kind of find my sweet spot, I just watched like a 35-minute video on all the new construction being done in Las Vegas in 2024.
Hell yeah.
That was sick. Like that was a top tier content consuming moment of my life.
I like that.
So I do think my goal should be to get stoned and watch more movies stoned. So we've got Pineapple Express. Of course, we have Never Going Back. Dazed and Confused. Dude, Where's My Car? Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. The Big Lebowski, which I had never like clocked, but this was a very popular answer on Reddit. Half Baked, Smiley Face, Grandma's Boy, How High, This Is the End, Superbad, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Friday, Ted, Inherent Vice, a lot of people said, a PTA movie that I actually have not seen, Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Super Troopers, and Soul Plane. That's our short list here.
There's a lot of really great stuff on this list, but I'm going to pick one that we haven't talked about much, I think, at all. And that's Super Troopers.
Okay.
Hilarious movie. So funny. And I think a great movie to watch while you're stoned as well. Like, kind of like, for me anyway, like cry laughing kind of stuff. Like, there's some really hilarious shit in there. Definitely a very quotable movie as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Super Troopers.
I believe I've seen Super Troopers once, and I remember having a very good time with it. So I probably need to revisit it. It is. I'm looking at the pictures. It's reminding me. It looks quite funny.
Brian Cox, your dude, Succession. He's in
my
it.
Boy. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I see on Letterboxd. He's the main guy on the header. It's Brian Cox and his troopers there. For me, any list that has pretty much any list that has Superbad, I'm picking Superbad. Like I'm sorry, but like there's just no question about that for me. It is one of the very few comedies that I think is genuinely a 5-star comedy. Incredibly influential in the genre and in the subgenre of like stoner movies.
Yeah.
I know it is, like you said, like more alcohol based in terms of like the gag of the movie, but it is a movie that I would really, really like to get high and watch, because I already think it's kind of the funniest movie ever when I'm sober. So I can only imagine if I were to take the right gummy. I also want to shout out Tenacious D and the Big Destiny. That's a great movie. It's just funny. It's just a funny movie. Okay. A24 ranking.
Yeah.
A3F24. I'm going to let you go first. I feel like you're going to be a little bit more generous than I will be.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. I think I'm going to go with, and this is still a positive review to me, but I'm going to go with a C+ 24.
Okay.
I think that's what I'm going to give it. Maybe a B- 24. Like, it's in that range.
Oh.
And I can't really clarify where it's at, but I'm going to go with the C+ 24 right now.
Okay. Yeah, I respect that. I think that is definitely a good grade, and like a better grade than I'm going to give it. I'm going to go with a D24. That's not to say that I think it's a bad movie. Well, I think ultimately there's a lot of the movie that is quite poor and doesn't work. But again, like there's 2 bits that really, really work. Like they really found their stride with those. And so I'm a little conflicted because I'm like, I just want that. I want that for 85 minutes. Like those are the things that I really, really liked and really, really want. But it's just not enough. It's just not enough to bring it up. So I really, again, I'm sorry, Robert, but I'm doing you dirty. D24. It's tough.
Thanks for the recommendation, though, for real. Like, I'm glad that I watched this, even if I didn't give it like an A24. Like, I'm still glad I've seen this movie. This would like fall in. I would recommend this to somebody who's like, if I knew they liked Kyle Mooney or if they like stoner movies, this is kind of like a deeper cut where it'd be like, oh, you should check this out.
Totally.
Presumably you have seen Superbad or Super Troopers or, Dazed and Confused. So like, oh, if you haven't seen this one is worth checking out. Maybe the movie itself is, in the C range overall for us.
Sure.
But it's still something that you could tell people about, which I'm glad you told us about.
Here's what I think is an interesting question that I've been posing to myself as of late that might be kind of fun to fold into this pod here and part of this ranking. If you were at your local record shop, I know your record shop sells movies as well, and so does mine. If you're there, if you're browsing through the films and you see Never Goin Back on Blu-ray, $7, are you going to buy it? Are you going to own it on a physical disc?
Yeah, I would.
I think I would too. That's really interesting for me. I think that tells a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I would buy it.
I think I would too. Next week on the pod, I could be lying to you. I'm not quite sure. So we'll see. We might have to stop doing this because we're getting so sporadic sometimes with our calendar. But we're going to kick off June with a wonderful guest, Brian Starr, B Star Cinema. Go follow him on Instagram, TikTok. He's very popular. He's very cool guy. He's coming on to talk about one of his favorite A24 movies called Free Fire. I believe Cillian Murphy and Brie Larson are in this film.
Dang, yeah.
I don't know anything other than the poster. So I'm excited. It might not be a good movie considering I've never heard of it, but Brian is coming on to talk about it. He suggested it. I'm stoked.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it yet. It's a tight 90. We love that. We love that here on the pod. Yeah.
Love to see it.
So I'm very excited about that.
You know, I will say, I'm going to look it up really quick as well, because I know the movie that we're doing the week after that, and I'm curious if we're going to fall. Our movie after that, 97 minutes.
Dang, look at that.
Little hint, find an A24 movie that's 97 minutes.
There it is.
You might know what we're covering.
Yeah, I'm excited to check out Free Fire. I think it's going to be a fun watch, and I'm excited to have Brian on. He's going to be a great guest. I'm positive. So this is going to be a good time. Yeah, cool. I
think it'll be really, really fun.
Let us know what you guys thought about Never Going Back. Have you seen it? Have you checked it out? Where does it fall in your stoner comedy rankings? Let us know.
I can't believe neither of us said that, like, neither of us pulled the joke of, like, I'm never going back to this movie. That it was just, it was there for the taking.
It's right there. I'm never going back till I saw the TV glow, but I might go back to this movie someday.
Boo!
I might go back to this movie.
Keep the strays to yourself.
We're on Twitter and Instagram at 24 minutes of A24. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, where you can watch our beautiful faces talk about everything from the A24 library. Thank you, everybody, for your support. We really appreciate it. I am Ben Lawhorn.
And I am Ethan Simi. Spring break forever, bitches.